book up wide and meet adventures that await for you. Live and learn and laugh and play whenever your dream comes true. You could swim along the river all the way to the sea. You could fly up in the sky above the clouds and trees. You could plant a flower garden up on top of the moon. You could swing through the jungle all afternoon. Wherever our story takes us, I can't wait to see. Yes, friends, come and read with me. It's Online Storytime.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Online Storytime at your Grand Rapids Area Library. I'm Miss Tracy.
I'm Teacher Missy.
And we are so excited that you are here with us today. So before we start talking about the really round and floaty thing we're going to talk about today, should we sing?
Oh, let's sing.
Storytime friends, would you sing with us? Okay, get your clappers ready, whatever you're going to clap. Here we go. If you want to hear a story, clap your hands. If you want to hear a story, clap your hands. If you want to hear a story, if you want to hear a story, if you want to hear a story, clap your hands. And I so want to hear stories, don't you? I know, I'm very, very excited. So Teacher Missy, what do you want to talk about today?
This is such a fun thing to talk about. It's a fun thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Can anybody look at this and kind of guess what this might be? How about if they were floating around, what would you think they'd be?
Or you went,
or you blew and they floated away. I think they're bubbles.
I think you're right.
Can you get bubbles in different ways?
You could blow a bubble. How else could you get a bubble?
Oh, you could make a bubble with gum
You could.
and blow a big bubble.
That's true. You could get bubbles in your bathtub.
You can get bubbles in your bathtub.
That's right. And sometimes, Storytime friends, now remember we're in northern Minnesota, we've got water all around us. Sometimes if you get water moving quickly, you'll get bubbles in the water. So sometimes we see bubbles in the river, sometimes we might see bubbles in the lake. What makes a bubble in the middle of a lake, Teacher Missy? If all of a sudden you see a little tiny bubble pop.
Well, sometimes it's stuff from the bottom. Sometimes weeds will give off little bits of oxygen. It's air that comes up, or fish.
Or fish. Sometimes you'll see a little tiny bubble and it's a fish down below.
And there could be a fish down below.
That's right. Storytime friends, can you think of any other ways we might get bubbles? Sure. That might work. Oh, sure. Sometimes when you pour milk or juice or something and you pour it quickly enough, you'll get little bubbles on the top.
And do you know where that is? It's air. Air gets trapped in the liquid.
Or if you're drinking pop.
Oh, and pop is, they put extra air in pop.
Sure, so the air you were saying gets trapped in the liquid.
Yeah, it kind of gets trapped in the liquid and then eventually it diffuses, but and then it just pops out and sometimes you can even hear it.
Hey, I've got a finger play about bubbles. You want to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, story time, friends. I want you to make a bubble with your hands, and we're going to make this bubble bigger. Here we go. It's called blow a bubble. I'm going to blow a bubble. Watch me while I blow. See it getting bigger? Watch it grow and grow. Do you think it's big enough? Maybe I should stop. If I keep blowing, my bubble may just pop. You gonna do it again? Okay, guys, remember to get the pop in at the end. Here we go. I'm going to blow a bubble. Watch me while I blow. See it getting bigger? Watch it grow and grow. Do you think it's big enough? Maybe I should stop. If I keep blowing, my bubble may just pop.
There it goes.
That is so fun. Hey, Teacher Missy, do you have any good books about bubbles?
You know what? I do.
I can't wait.
Miss Tracy.
Yes, Teacher Missy.
I have another really cool book for us today.
Does it happen to be about bubbles?
It does.
I love bubble books.
I love bubbles. Don't you like to blow bubbles with gum, with...
Oh, bubbles are my favorite.
Yeah, bubbles are fun. I like to play with bubble wands. Do you ever play with bubble wands?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like those. Bubble Bubble by Mercer Mayer. There's some posters on this fence. Bubble, oops, I'm moving the book, sorry. Bubble Bubble. Okay, come on, open up. Don't harass me. Okay. Well, one day, as I was walking, he sees a sign on the fence and it says, "Do not litter." What does that mean, Miss Tracy? Do not litter.
It means don't throw garbage around.
Oh, right. You should always put your garbage in a garbage can or...
100% yes.
Yeah. Well, I bumped into a bubble. It wasn't just one bubble, but lots of bubbles. Well, and they weren't just any kind of bubbles. They were magic bubbles. It says right here, Magic Bubble Maker. So I bought a magic bubble maker and I said goodbye. I started blowing bubbles. Magic bubbles. Look at the shapes. That one looks like a, what does that look like, you guys? Storytime friends, do you think that looks, I think it looks like a kangaroo. And everywhere, and look at all these different shapes. Wow. Then suddenly, something strange happened. Uh-oh, I thought. Oh, I had to do something quick. Look what his bubble turned into. Oh my goodness. So I blew another bubble. These pictures are darling. And that took care of that. Look at that great big bubble he blew, chased away the snake. Well, at least I thought so. But I knew what to do. I blew some more bubbles. And that took care of that. There's an elephant now. That's a big bubble. Well, I wasn't worried one small bit. I just blew another bubble, and that took care of that. It's a mouse. Chased away the elephant. I popped all the bubbles, one by one. Blowing bubbles made me tired, so I went home. Anyway, everyone knows there's no such thing as magic bubbles. Where are there? Magic bubbles.
Hey, Storytime friends. Hey, Teacher Missy.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you all want to do a flannel board?
Well, it's one of my favorites.
Mine too, let me tell you. But this one is unlike a flannel I have ever done before. We have more parts and pieces here than 10 flannel boards combined sometimes. So, are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Awesome. We are going to do a poem, and the poem is called Bubble Bath, and it's written by Gareth Lancaster. Okay, so I didn't write this one. Mr. Lancaster did. And here it goes. Bubble bath. Do you know what that is? That's some bubble bath. I emptied my bubble bath into the tub, determined to get myself thoroughly scrubbed. The bottle had said only 1 cap or 2, so I poured in the lot to see what it would do. Have you ever emptied a whole bottle of bubble bath in your tub? That still didn't seem enough to get clean. So I followed it up with another 15. Oh my gosh, look at this, Storytime friends. We are pouring 15 bottles of bubble bath into the tub.
Oh my word.
Ooh, do you think it's gonna make bubbles? I don't know. We should have counted these as we put them up. Okay, that's 16 bottles of bubble bath, people. That still didn't seem quite enough to get clean, so I followed it up with another 15. Then 3 bars of soap and a dozen shampoo.
Oh.
Storytime friends, you know what a dozen is? A dozen is 12. So we have 16 bottles of bubble bath, and now we're going to have 12 bottles of shampoo, all in our tub.
We've moved way past 5.
We have, look at all of that bubble bath,
Look at that.
all of that shampoo, and all of that soap. Then 3 bars of soap, and a dozen shampoo, and 2 broken bath bombs to finish my brew. I'll cut to the chase. This did not turn out well, as the burbling, bubbling, foaming bath balls did swell. It wasn't all bad. I was clean and smelt sweet. But outside, my soap suds had buried the street. Wasn't that funny? Should we do the whole poem again so you can hear it and see all the pieces? It says, I emptied my bubble bath into the tub, determined to get myself thoroughly scrubbed. The bottle had said only 1 cap or 2, so I poured in the lot to see what it would do. That still didn't seem quite enough to get clean, so I followed it up with another 15. Then 3 bars of soap and a dozen shampoo and 2 broken bath bombs to finish my brew. I'll cut to the chase. This did not end well, as the burbling, foaming bath bubbles did swell. It wasn't all bad. I was clean and smelt sweet, but outside, my soap suds had buried the street. And there we go, my friends. That's what happens when you have a lot of bubbles in your tub.
So, my friends, do not try this at home.
That's right. Thanks for playing.
This is going to be so much fun. This is a first.
I was going to say it's a story time first.
It's a story time first. It is. Can you guess what's going on here? Miss Tracy and I are sitting pretty close together.
That's me. I'm Miss Tracy.
And yeah, that's Miss Tracy. I'm Teacher Missy. And this is called Bubble Trouble. Could bubbles be trouble?
I think in this case this gives us a clue as to what might be happening here.
Aha. Well, it was written by Margaret Mahi, and Polly Dunbar did the pictures for us. And it comes to us from Sandpiper Publishers.
And guess what? Teacher Missy and I are going to read it together.
Together, how cool is that? We're going to share.
All right.
We'll see if we
Bubble
can
trouble. Oh, look, the clue papers tell us it might have bubbles in it.
Oh, and lots of them.
And that looks like, look at that, a mama and a baby. Okay, are you ready, my friends? Here we go. There's lots of fun words in this book. And we might have to go a little bit slow so you can hear all the fun words. Are you ready? Here we go. Little Mabel blew a bubble, and it caused a lot of trouble. Such a lot of bubble trouble in a bibble-bobble way. For it broke away from Mabel as it bobbed across the table, where it bobbled over Baby, and it wafted him away.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, my heavens to Betsy. I've never had a baby caught in a bubble before.
I haven't either.
The baby didn't quibble. He began to smile and dribble, for he liked the wibble-wobble of the bubble in the air. But Mabel ran for cover as the bubble bobbed above her, and she shouted out for Mother, who was putting up her hair. At the sudden cry of trouble, Mother took off at the double, for the squealing left her reeling, made her terrified and tense. Saw the bubble for a minute with the baby bobbing in it as it bibbled by the letterbox and bobbed across the fence. Oh, my heavens. In her garden, Krista Gribble had begun to cry and kibble at her lazy brother Greville, reading novels in his bed.
But she bellowed, gracious Greville, and she groveled on the gravel. But the baby in the bubble bibble-bobbled overhead.
Goes. In a garden folly, Tyball and his jolly mother Sybil sat and played a game of Scrabble, shouting shrilly as they scored. But they both began to babble and to scrabble with the Scrabble as the baby in the bubble bibble-bobbled by the board. There it goes. Then crumpled Mr. Copple and his wife, a crabby couple, set out arm in arm to hobble and to squabble down the lane. But the baby in the bubble turned their hobble to a joggle as they raced away like rockets, and they've never limped again.
Even feeble Mrs. Threeble, in a muddle with her needle, matching pink and purple patches for a pretty patchwork quilt, when her older sister told her, tossed the quilt across her shoulder, and she set off at a totter in her tattered tartan kilt.
Goodness, everyone's chasing the baby.
At the shops, a busy rabble, met to gossip and to gabble, started gibbering and goggling as the bubble bobbled by. Mother, hand in hand with Mabel, flew as fast as she was able, very troubled lest the bubble burst or vanish in the sky.
Oh my goodness.
What does vanish mean?
Vanish means to disappear.
Disappear.
After them came Greville Gribble in his nightshirt with his novel, all about a haunted hovel held up high above his head.
Followed by his sister, Krista, though her books had made a blister. Then came Tibble, pulling Sybil with the Scrabble for a sled.
Hey, if it works.
There's the baby still in the bubble.
After them, the couple came cavorting at the double. Then a jogger, quite a slogger, joined the crowd, who called and coughed.
Up above the puzzled people, way up toward the chapel steeple, rose the bubble with the baby, slowly lifting up aloft.
There he goes, higher and higher.
There he goes.
There was such a flummadiddle, Mabel huddled in the middle. Canon Dapple left the chapel, followed by the chapel choir, and the treble singer Abel threw an apple core at Mabel as the baby in the bubble bobbled up a little higher.
Oh, they giggled and they goggled until their brains were boggled as the baby in the bubble rose above the little town. With the problem let us grapple, murmured kindly Canon Dapple, and the problem we must grapple with this is bringing baby down.
How are we going to get baby down?
I don't know. Looks like a task to me. Now let Mabel stand on Abel, who could stand in turn on Tybal, who could stand on Gribble, who could stand upon the wall. Well, the people from the shop will stand to catch them if they topple. Then perhaps they'll reach the bubble, saving baby from a fall.
That's a good plan.
That is a good plan. But Abel, though a treble, was a rascal and a rebel, fond of getting into trouble when he didn't have to sing. Pushing quickly through the people, Abel clambered up the steeple with the nefarious intentions and a pebble in his sling. I love the word nefarious. Do you know what that means, boys and girls? Look at his face. Does he look like he might be doing something not very nice?
He doesn't look like he's trying to help, does
No, he is not being helpful.
Abel quietly aimed the pebble past the steeple of the chapel at the baby in the bubble wibble wobbling way up there. And the pebble burst the bubble. So the future seemed to fizzle for the baby boy who grizzled as he tumbled through the air.
There he goes.
Oh my heavens, the
I know, let's find out what happens.
What a moment for a mother as her infant plunged above her. There were groans and gasps and gargles from the horror-stricken crowd.
Sybil said, upon my honor, there's a baby who's a goner. And Krista hissed with emphasis, it shouldn't be allowed. No, it shouldn't.
But Mabel, Tybal, Greville, and the jogger, christened Neville, didn't quiver, didn't quaver, didn't drivel, shrivel, wilt, but as one they made a swivel, and with action, firm but civil, they divested Mrs. Threeble of her pretty patchwork quilt.
And look at how pretty that quilt
That is
is.
delightful. Oh, what calculated catchwork! Baby bounced into the patchwork, where his grizzles turned to giggles and to wriggles of delight. And the people stared dumbfounded as he bobbled and rebounded, till the baby boy was grounded and his mother held him tight.
And the people there still prattle. There's lots of little tittle-tattle. For the glory and the story, young and old folk, gold and gray, of how wicked treble Abel triple trouble with his pebble, and how Mabel and some others saved her brother and the day. And I think yep.
And there are bubbles.
More and more bubbles.
Hey, Teacher Missy, I love reading with you.
Wasn't that fun? We have to do that again sometime.
I think we should. Hey, Storytime friends. Hey, Teacher Missy.
Yes, ma'am.
Should we wave some scarves?
Let's do some scarves.
All right, let's do it. So Storytime friends, out of your Storytime kit, I'd like you to find your scarf. I'm going to hand Teacher Missy her green one.
Love the green.
And if you don't have a Storytime scarf, what can you use? Sock? Handkerchief? Kleenex? Towel? Paper towel? Anything that'll move through the air you can use. Even your shirt if you want
I was going to say, your shirt.
Your shirt would work really well
You
too.
know what else would work?
What?
Underwear.
But don't take off your underwear.
But don't.
Okay. Yeah, okay. All right. Oh, did you hear something? Oh, Teacher Missy.
Who's here? Who's here?
Giraffe wants to be our storytime friend today.
Good morning, Giraffe.
Oh, Teacher Missy.
So good to see you.
Hello, Storytime friends. Oh, Storytime friends behind the camera, Miss Nicole and Miss Dion are here. Hello, Miss Nicole. Hello, Miss Dion.
Hello.
See, you heard them, didn't you? Okay. All right, so Giraffe, you sit right there. Well, we wave our scarf, and you might not be surprised to know, and you might not be surprised to know, that our scarves are going to be bubbles today. Isn't it crazy how magical our scarves are? They can turn into anything we want. Okay, are you ready? The first one is called Bubble, Bubble, Pop. And here's how it goes. Oh, poor Teacher Missy is trying to strain her little eyes. Don't want that to happen.
No,
so
we don't. Might be the only working part.
I've got some words for her.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Bubbles floating all around, bubbles fat and bubbles round, bubbles on my toes and nose, blow a bubble, up it goes. Bubbles floating all around, bubbles falling to the ground. Oh, that's such a fun one. Nice job.
That was fun.
Now we're going to do another one, and guess what it's about? You're right, bubbles! Okay, this is called There Are Bubbles in the Air. Here we go. There are bubbles in the air, in the air. There are bubbles in the air, in the air. There are bubbles in the air, there are bubbles everywhere. There are bubbles in the air, in the air. Did you fill your air with bubbles? I know, that's great, isn't it? There are bubbles way up high, way up high. Can you get them way up high? There are bubbles way up high, way up high. There are bubbles way up high, they are filling up the sky. There are bubbles way up high, way up high. Whoa. Now, they were way down, way up high, and then where did they go? Here we go. There are bubbles way down low, way down low. There are bubbles way down low, way down low. There are bubbles way down low. Now they're tickling your toes. There are bubbles way down low, way down low. Pop. And there they go. Hey, thanks for playing. Teacher Missy, what an amazing time I had today.
This was so fun.
I know.
It was so fun.
And for the first time ever, Storytime friends, Teacher Missy and I read a book together. I hope that you enjoyed that, but I want to tell you, it's the best thing I've done in Storytime so far.
This was really fun. It was really fun to read with you. And that was a great book.
So many bubble, bubble, bubble words.
I
and
know.
gribble, grabble, grobble words. Yep, that was fun. And then we got to read about the Bubble Bubble book over here by Mercer Mayer. You guys may not know this, but Mercer Mayer is the author of all the little critter books too.
Yep.
So you may recognize the look of it because he does all his own illustrations.
Yes, his illustrations, yeah. And lots of books for kids.
And, you know, Abel shot the baby down, but it's okay because the quilt rescued him. Quilts can do a lot for this world.
I
just
think
want to
so.
say. But now I think it's time to say goodbye.
It is.
Storytime friends, would you sing with us? All right, here we go. Oh, it's time to say goodbye to all our friends. Yes, it's time to say goodbye to all our friends. Story time is done today. Now it's time to go and play. Oh, it's time to say goodbye to all our friends. Goodbye, everybody.
Blow a bubble.